Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the final day for Rises from the Ashes. Now, this is not the final episode, but it is the final day, day 4, because in the world of Phoenix Wright, zippy is the best way to describe our court. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth, knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of this All Them Sevens ID number, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much, that's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid, today's the last day of the trial. And I'm tired of reminiscing about the past. But that depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. So suspicious. Here's my question though. Why did we find Emma's fingerprint on that one fabric? Is Gant holding that, like, over Lana's head and, like, blackmailing her with that? Is that what this is? Is it the fact that he can, like, put Emma's fingerprint onto something else and then, like, accuse her of murder? Is that what this... Like, that's the one thing I haven't figured out. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Let's head on in. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Chief, been back to the pool yet? Why does he keep mentioning the pool? Like, okay, here's my question. Because the only thing that I could think that has significance of a pool is The Great Gatsby. And I didn't properly read that when I was in high school, and I've yet to be able to, like, fully just, like, get into it. Because whenever it comes to, like, very old English, my brain has a hard time, like, comprehending it. I know, like, I struggle reading every and all classic. But I'm like, that's the only thing that I could think, because he keeps bringing up swimming. He keeps being like, yeah, you've been to the pool, we should go swimming. And I'm like, the only thing that I can think that has pool and so prominent is just Great Gatsby. And I'm like, is that what this is all referencing? Like, I don't know. And I don't know what the pool has anything to do with all of this. And I am confused. That's a good one. Don't think I can top that. I forgot to read what the judge said. Don't mind me. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, what exactly is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. She's gonna, like, fully go into guilt. Like, we all know that. What is this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman. In the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana. It looks like she's holding something behind her back and I can't figure out what it is. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana. Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Huh. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdicts has arrived. The court defines the defendant.
Objection!
One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, huh? I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes? Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. Who do you think I am, Von Karma? With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, huh? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Yeah, I really like the idea. God, here's the thing. I keep going back and forth between, does this whole case work better before or after episode? Like, does this work as episode 5 or would it work better as episode 4? That's what I keep going back and forth. I get that this is, like, setting up for, like, probably the, Edgeworth, like, spin-off series, but for me, I'm just kind of like, where does this fit in his arc? That's what I keep struggling with. Like, I understand that it, like, fits here, because it's like, oh, okay, he isn't in the same boat as, like, Von Karma, but I think even kind of I need to stop talking about this, because I'm like, I need to just wait until the end and then just have all my thoughts then, instead of, like, jumping now. But it's like, my brain is just like, does this work? And I don't know. Very well, the court may grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy. You'll live to regret this, mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation.
My name is Emma Skye. My occupation, I'm Lana's little sister and I want to be a scientific investigator.
2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark at the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct?
Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman.
Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Okay then. He sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial.
Waiting in my sister's office, man came running in, took me hostage, Neil Marshall rescued me, and I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon be apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I thought we weren't the defense anymore. But okay. Rescued me. Hold on. He was stabbed in the back, not the chest. We're gonna present this. I wanted to check that.
Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence.
It does. I don't see anything contradictory.
Huh? Really?
I have to press? That is contradictory.
That must have been a real shock.
Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it just as clearly.
Tell us, what were you doing at that moment? I believe you testified that Joe Dark was holding you hostage.
When lightning struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. I was thrown aside and the two began wrestling each other. I'm pretty sure I was watching then.
Emma doesn't have a reason to lie, but Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much as she can about this.
I'll press that.
Man?
Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer.
Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office.
There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him.
What was a prosecutor doing there? That day, there were two people present during Dark's questioning, Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gant. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award.
Wait, was that the murder weapon?
Was young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assumed that would be why he was the first to run in after Dark.
When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was good as dead.
And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in?
I don't clearly remember what happened then, but...
Can you tell us about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark and then the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby.
So the electricity went out.
Wait a minute, if it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but then, just then, lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image at the scene in my mind. I told the detective about what I saw then.
The detective?
Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case.
Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim.
We're gonna keep going.
So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago?
Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial.
And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw?
Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
A picture, yes. I think she mentioned that before. Oh, well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough?
Let's ask about the picture.
This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. The list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we had added this statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. It wasn't lost, because we have it. Let's flip it around. Again, he was stabbed in the back. Not the chest. I'm just saying.
You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right?
Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now whenever I close my eyes.
That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died. Yet, I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken?
But I did draw it. I swear. I'm not imagining it.
This picture that Emma drew. I guess I should check the evidence. The scene imprinted. Can you please describe it? The man. No, it ain't!
Objection!
Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence. Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as a prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold.
This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident.
Please turn it over, Your Honor.
Turn it over. Ow! What's this?
Yes, what is that?
Hey! That's it! That's the picture I drew!
Indeed. Two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list.
Huh. These lists, they're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other.
So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What?
Order! Order! But Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor?
Are you all right, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head.
If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list.
Yes, that's quite conceivable. Mr. Edgeworth?
It's possible. Let me...
How did no one ever realize that? For 2 years! Edgy! Boy, how dumb are you?
Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. Is that thing? That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper.
Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor.
What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture.
Let's press it.
Picture drew 2 years ago.
The flash of light was so bright all I could see was shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind.
Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw.
Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about the murder of Prosecutor Neil Marshall. This proves someone else killed Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Let's keep pressing things. Did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock I couldn't do anything.
During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later. The memory should still have been fresh in her mind.
Excuse me, witness? But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? The flash of... Okay, all I can see were shadows.
So at the time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue.
No, I couldn't see him clearly, but lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor.
You were knocked to the floor.
Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him...
Hold on.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed.
Poor Emma, I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed?
Must have fainted.
You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place?
No, I'm sorry.
The flash of lightning only drove out the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here.
Anyway, this picture... it shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw?
Of course! This is the exact scene!
It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives?
Which very much would be the case. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright?
No, of course not. I'd better watch out or I might find some way to cut my salary. Or he might find a way to cut my salary.
I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detective, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture?
Huh? Oh, well... That's strange. She claims this was exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind, and yet... there's clearly a contradiction.
Here's the thing. This is my biggest thing, is the fact that she says she clearly saw Marshall, but none of the faces are shown. That's kind of what's bugging me. But we don't have any way to press this. Unless we use the autopsy report to prove that he wasn't stabbed in the chest, but he was stabbed in the back. Like, is that what they're asking us to do? Okay, yeah, we are supposed to present this, because that's not exactly how it happened.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. Which part of this picture contradicts the autopsy? She said multiple times that he was stabbed in the chest. But like, even in this, it kind of looks a little bit off. Oh, it's this. Hopefully I clicked the right part.
The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see the tip is broken.
Even I don't have to look that closely to see that, Mr. Wright. And Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? The tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off of the victim's body. It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer.
I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma.
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem?
It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken.
Ah! What's the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there.
That's right, but what does this mean?
The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken.
which would be the logical situation.
That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence. You're treading on thin ice, Wright. All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No.
Yes, I am doing that delayed. It's fine. Order, order, order! Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted?
Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. Police Department and Prosecutor's Office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Grant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark.
I keep wanting to say Drake.
It is my belief that somewhere in this story there is a lie.
Okay, I think I know what it is. It wasn't Marshall, it was Gant. Now my question is, was Marshall dead in the questioning room? Or did Gant kill Marshall later and then frame it on Dark? Because there's that piece, here's the thing, this piece of evidence, but it has for some reason Sky's prints on it, which makes no sense why he would hold on to it. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife.
If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife.
What are the chances of there being two broken knives?
Another broken knife beside Joe Dark's. Could there have been one?
We don't have any proof. That's the other broken knife. I think.
If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, then it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error.
That's right.
In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife.
I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife? If so, feel free to enlighten us.
The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon.
Do we show the picture or do we show this? Okay, yeah, we show the picture.
The answer lies in the past, 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the award ceremony.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding.
That's a broken knife.
As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award.
Order, order, order!
Neil Marshall was awarded the King of Prosecutors Award that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in his dangerous situation.
Objection!
But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors Award knife was the murder weapon, then the murder of the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, the man raising the knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. It's true. What's going on here? seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions.
Wait, I remember now. I remember everything.
Witness, Mr. Edgeworth. What is it?
Could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back.